In 1988, the Italians got their first-generation Squadron ETR 450 into service. Here it is looking. Look at it. It's beautiful. Whizzing around the corner. With some Italians looking very stylish there in the side, having a lovely time, and basically this thing successful. So, come 1993, and the frankly much more fetching second generation Squadron Pendolino was entering service as the ETR 460 in 1993, with various improvements as well as a slight reduction in tilt angle. The ETR 450, that 1988 train, had incorporated elements of the significant elements of the APT active tilt system. The designs had been merged, so Fiat's non-functional, or kind of not hugely reliable tilting system, Fiat's not hugely reliable tilting system was merged with the pretty reliable APT active tilt system, and that is what then gave the first generation launch of the first generation ETR 450, followed by the 460 in 1993 with various improvements, slight reduction in tilt angle. Now, in 1995, Fiat acquired the rear vehicle bits of Swiss company SIG, who had been developing their own tilt system, and proceeded to incorporate it into their own incorporate the electromechanical actuators from the SIG design into its updated tilt system. So there's some things we have to talk about, some technology stuff we have to talk about. Tilt above, which is where the vehicle, the actual tilting mechanism tilts, above the kind of the bolster level, above the suspension, and then tilt below, where it happens below. Basically, it's above and below the secondary suspension. So it's happening above the secondary suspension, or whether it's happening below the secondary suspension. Tilt below is favourable for all sorts of reasons, and so these are two key features. But this key thing here, an electromechanical actuator, the electromechanical tilt actuator, was a SIG bit of technology, Swiss SIG bit of technology. And therefore, these were, because this new technology was incorporated into the new design of, this is me moving back and forth with mouse. It's got there so many moving parts, and I've just not got good at it again. I'll go through the chat in a second. So, electromechanical tilt actuator. This design would form the basis of Fiat's bid for the Class 390 fleet for Virgin Trains, which they won in 1999. There is a Pendolino behind Richard Branson as Beardy Weirdy, which that's in 1999. They won that just prior to Alstom eating Fiat's train manufacturing business in the year 2000. So by this point, the tilt system was kind of significantly different to the ETR 450 origins. So you got the ETR 610, which was the kind of the newest version of the kind of the tilting fleet, which was used tilt above with swing links and electro-hydraulic actuation. You had the BR Class 390, the thing they just won the Virgin Trains bid with, which had tilt below with a circular roller beam and electromechanical actuation, so using those SIG electromechanical actuators. And then, at the same time, there's this little thing called this thing called the X2000, which we'll talk about in a second, which used a different technology. Now, this technology we'll talk about in a second, but this had been developed by the Swedish state, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it used a slightly different technology, a servo hydraulic actuator, to achieve this, the rotations. But here they are. There's some cross sections of different tilting technologies, all in action. And the Class 390 tech, the kind of the culmination of the Fiat APT SIG combined technology, so that's kind of British, Italian, and Swiss combination, became known as Tiltronics, alongside the kind of actuating sort of infrastructure that was required alongside. So other stuff as well, the control systems in the train and on the track, as well as the kind of the electromechanical kit, became known as Tiltronics. Here it is.